Yo, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Publicly Buzzed Live. I think this is working now. Let me make sure. I believe it's working. I hope that it's working. Yes, I believe that we are rocking and rolling. Lord. Okay, guys, I will fuck up a stream real good. So, yeah, apparently I had some kind of suspicious activity earlier. I don't know what happened. I don't know what was going on, but I had to reset my password. And in doing so, I messed up something on the OBS side and how it connects with my stream key or whatever. Yeah, this happened once before, and then I forgot how to actually go live. And right here, while we was fiddling with Dan, I actually seen up in the left hand, or the right hand corner rather, in my behind the scenes, go live, and that's all I really need to do. So I bothered Dan for no reason. I'm sorry, Annabelle. Wow. Oh wow. Okay. Yeah. Thank you all for being here. First of all, on a Tuesday night for Publicly Buzzed Live. Who all is hanging out here? Whoa, Laura coming through. About time. Thank you very much, Laura. Hold on. One more thing. Make sure we get those sound effects going.
Welcome to the party, pal.
Boom. Wrong one. Boom. We're going, baby. We're going. Thank you so much. We'll appreciate it. Holly Berry's hanging out here. Shannon's hanging out here. Jay's hanging out here. Holly Berry, Joanne, Gina, Stevie, Mandy, Laura, Jen, not that Nikki. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate it. Everyone that is coming through. Laughing Stock and Ricky. There is my brother saving the day per usual, and at least keeping me a little bit calm. I'll start to lose my mind a little bit. He's the saving grace of this entire show, guys. Tia, City Kitty, everybody popping through here. Thank you all. As you come through, please hit that like. Really helps us out in the algorithm here on YouTube. Please share this out to your community. Share this out to Facebook. Share this out to Twitter. Let people know what you're watching. Let them know that you're hanging out here on Publicly Buzzed Live. And with the J Buzzed Nation. Oh, shit. Jen coming through. Gifting 5 memberships out the gate. Wow. Uh-oh.
Welcome to the party.
Whoa. And I would like to see some beers passed out there, folks. Where them beers at in the chat? Where them beers at? Boom. I'm going to make that noise. That's me clicking the beers repeatedly. Who do we got here? Laughing Stock, Ductus Exemplo, Christine, Pam H., and George, all receiving memberships. Welcome, guys. Thank y'all so much. Really appreciate it. Yeah, at least once a month, everybody that is members here, you get a specific members-only stream. So, yeah, that is still to come here in July. Thank you so much, Jen. Absolutely amazing. Again, from the J-Buzz Nation. Before we get into, again, what we're doing tonight, we're going to be covering or going over the last ever Ted Bundy interview, literally hours before his execution. But before we do that, I want to show off a few things here. First of all, Stevie Irwin, who is hanging out here in the chat. I'm going to show off his video, first of all. He is awesome. He made this cool hype video for all of us here. Put it in the Discord. I'm going to play that. And then I also want to hype up, of course, my main man right here, Jay. And tomorrow night, first of all, we got streams happening all the time between the J Buzz Nation. In the morning, back to YNW Melly, the most insane trial happening right now. Today was something else. Today was absolutely annoying as shit. Basically, nothing happened. Nothing but sidebars. And then, yeah, tomorrow night, both of us, Dan, who is chilling out there in the chat, we are both going to be going on and hanging out with both Shannon and Jay, as I think it's going to be day 4 of the Michael Turney viral cold case trial. I was watching a little bit of that tonight, and I was looking at the graphic that Shannon made in the Discord, trying to get caught up and figure out what's going on. I'm going to have to do a little bit more homework on this before we go on tomorrow night. But yeah, I'm excited to come on there, and really appreciate you guys having us on. Again, awesome. Loving it. Everybody, look at all this. Yeah. Some beers in the chat. That's what I like to see, guys. Holly coming through as well. Wow. Okay, hold on, Holly.
Give me the loot. Give me the
Loving it. And also, pass those beers out. Boom. Satisfying pour.
Welcome to the
Lovely. Who's going to get these real quick? Let's see who Holly hooked up. Kara Willis. Party of 5. Denise, Adams. Lisa and Cannoli, Crime Solver, all getting new memberships. Cammy Q also, didn't see you there. Thank you all, everyone hanging out here. Carlene, everybody, what are you doing? Danbo, I need to still make my Dan only dance shirt. Everybody hanging out in here. Y'all are so amazing. But yeah, I'm going to rock and roll. Yeah, PB&J Shandwich. The wordplay is out of this world. But before we even get started here, again, props to Stevie Irwin for coming through and doing the damn thing. He put together this cool ass video, and I'm going to show it off here for you guys. Check this out. First of all, I want to make sure the sound is working properly. That's it. Every time the names come through, I'm like, I know I'm going to fuck these names up. I'm going to fuck every one of these names up. Yeah, let me make sure I got the sound correct here for our main man. Boom, Publicly Buzzed promo. Check this out, guys. Seriously, this rules. Also, give Stevie a follow, everybody. Put this in the chat here. Give Stevie a follow. Boom, boom, boom. Dude, Stevie, that was fucking awesome, bro. That was amazing. When I opened the Discord, I was like, what? That was super cool. Seriously, thank you so much, man. Yeah, give him a follow. Give him a follow here. Loving it. Hell yeah. Give old Stevie a follow. Yeah, love that, man. That is fucking dope. Again, yes. I could not control my feet. My feet were going absolutely ballistic, people. Gifted membership Jay coming through as well.
Welcome to the party, pal.
Boom. Satisfying pours, everybody, and pass some beers out. Pass them out. Pass them out. Jay, thank you very much. Who received this special membership? Tamara. Ladies and gentlemen, Tamara, welcome to Publicly Buzzed, the J Buzz Nation. This is amazing. You guys are the best. Wow. Yeah, my feet do need a break. I just got down. I probably just did enough dancing for the rest of my life, quite frankly. So amazing. Yeah, dude, Stevie, no, appreciate you, man. That was fucking dope. That was dank as hell. That's right, Kayla. You guys are amazing. You guys are killing it. So yeah, what are we doing here tonight? We are going to be looking at the last ever, literally hours before the man was executed, okay? Ted Bundy killed more than 25 girls. I think he's actually he confessed to 30 murders in 7 states between 74 and 78. But he was executed in 1989, okay? And hours before that execution took place, he sat down and had an interview, which I think is extremely interesting. And I've watched bits and pieces of this interview, but I've never seen the thing in its entirety. So I thought, why not watch it with the crew? And yes, holy crap, yes, real quick, yes. I will, Jen, thank you. Perfect, actually. Friday, Feral Friday. So, of course, we're going to have a show Thursday, 10, usual, have Dan here. We'll be having a good time. Tomorrow night, we're going to be on with Jay and Shannon. But Friday night, 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Feral Friday is going to be a really fun, extremely special show. 6K special. We just went over 6K last week. We're stoked about it. If anybody's seen the 5K special with Jay, you know that we had a really good time. A hacker took over the stream that night and made us watch a terrible movie. I don't know what's going to happen this time, but I know it's going to be unique and it's going to be fun. And after this show tonight, me and Dan are actually going to be getting together to hopefully smooth out a few kinks just to get this thing in line. And then, you do not want to miss that. And then also that night, thanks to Austin Rains, I'm not sure if she's here in the chat tonight or not, we are dropping some super special, I'm talking rare variant t-shirts. There are going to be a limited amount. These are literally custom handmade by Austin Rains. Those are going to be available also Friday night, and we're going to be dropping those live. So yeah, please, everybody, come through for Feral Friday. Jen, thank you so much for reminding me, quite frankly, because I was leaving off a very important plug there. Melly today, I'm telling you what. Melly today. I'm glad I got on here. I was almost like, man, are we even going to have a stream? Am I going to have a stream? We got it, baby. We got it. Hanging out, ladies and gentlemen. Please hit that like as we go through this. I'm going to start her up. Again, the last ever Ted Bundy interview. Let me make sure that I have the sound correct. And we'll pause and talk about it as we go. January 23rd, 1989.
Ted, it is about 2:30 in the afternoon. You are scheduled to be executed tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock if you don't receive another stay. What is going through your mind? What thoughts have you had in these last few days? For the record, you are guilty of killing many women and girls. Is that correct?
Yes, that's true.
Ted, how did it happen? Take me back. What are the antecedents of the behavior that we've seen? So much grief, so much sorrow, so much pain for so many people. Where did it start? How did this moment come about?
That's the question of the hour, and one that not only people much more intelligent than I have been working on for years, but one that I've been working on for years and trying to understand. Is there enough time to explain it all? I don't know. I think I understand it, though. Understand what happened to me, to the extent that I can see how certain feelings and ideas developed in me to the point where I began to act out on them. Certain very violent and very destructive feelings.
Let's go back then to those roots. First of all, you, as I understand it, were raised in what you consider to have been a healthy home.
Absolutely.
You were not physically abused. You were not sexually abused. You were not emotionally abused.
No, no way. And that's part of the tragedy of this whole situation, is because I grew up in a wonderful home with two dedicated and loving parents, one of 5 brothers and sisters. A home where we as children were the focus of my parents' lives, where we regularly attended church, 2 Christian parents who did not drink, they did not smoke, there was no gambling, there was no physical abuse or fighting in the home. I'm not saying this was Leave It to Beaver.
It wasn't a perfect home.
No, I don't know that such a home exists, but it was a fine, solid Christian home, and nobody, I hope no one will try to take the easy way out and to try to blame or otherwise accuse my family of contributing to this, because I know, and I'm trying to tell you as honestly as I know what happened, and I think this is a message I want to get across. But as a young boy, and I mean a boy of 12 or 13, certainly, that I encountered outside the home again, in the local grocery store, the local drugstore, the softcore pornography, what people call softcore. But as I think I explained to you last night, Dr. Dobson, in an anecdote, that as young boys do, we explored the back roads and sideways and byways of our neighborhood, and oftentimes people would dump the garbage and whatever they were cleaning out of their house, and from time to time we'd come across pornographic books of a harder nature than more graphic, you might say, more explicit nature than we would encounter, let's say, in your local grocery store. And this also included such things as, let's say, detective magazines and more hardcore.
Those that involve violence. Then.
Yes,
Yeah.
and and this is something I think I want to emphasize, is the most damaging kinds of pornography. And again, I'm talking from personal experience. Hard, real, personal experience. The most damaging kinds of pornography are those that involve violence and sexual violence, because the wedding of those two forces, as I know only too well, brings about behavior that is just too terrible to describe.
Now, walk me through that. What was going on in your mind at that time?
Okay, before we go any further, I think it's important to me, and that people believe what I'm saying, to tell you that I'm not blaming pornography, and not saying that it caused me to go out and do certain things. And I take full responsibility for whatever I've done and all the things that I've done. That's not the question here. The question and the issue is how this kind of literature contributed and helped mold and shape the kinds of violent behavior.
It fueled your fantasies, didn't it?
Well, in the beginning, it fuels this kind of thought process. Then, at a certain time, it's instrumental in what I would say crystallizing it, making it into something which is almost like a separate entity inside. And at that point, you're at the verge, or I was at the verge of acting out on these kinds of thoughts.
Now, I really want to understand that. You had gone about as far as you could go in your own fantasy life with printed material, and you made or printed and video or film or
film,
photos,
magazines, what have you. Yeah.
And then there was the urge to take that little step or big step over to a physical event.
And it happens. It happened in stages, gradually. It doesn't necessarily, not to me at least, happen overnight. My experience with, I'd say, pornography generally, but with pornography that deals on a violent level with sexuality, is that once you become addicted to it, and I look at this as a kind of addiction, like other kinds of addiction, I would keep looking for more potent, more explicit, more graphic kinds of material. Like an addiction, you keep craving something which is harder, something which gives you a greater sense of excitement, until you reach the point where the pornography only goes so far. You reach that jumping off point where you begin to wonder if maybe actually doing it will give you that which is beyond just reading about it or looking at it.
How long did you stay at that point before you actually assaulted someone?
Well, yeah, you see, that is a very delicate point in my own development, and we're talking about having reached the point or a gray area that surrounded that point over a course of
You don't remember
years.
How long that
was?
was?
I would say a couple of years. And what I was dealing with there were very strong inhibitions against criminal behavior or violent behavior that had been conditioned into me, bred into me in my environment, in my neighborhood, in my church, in my school. Things which said, no, this is wrong. I mean, even to think of it is wrong, but certainly to do it is wrong. And I'm on that edge, and you might say the last vestiges of restraint. The barriers to actually doing something were being tested constantly and assailed through the kind of fantasy life that was fueled largely by pornography.
Do you remember what pushed you over that edge? Do you remember the decision to go for it? Do you remember where you decided to throw caution to the wind?
Again, when you say pushed, I know what you're saying. I don't want to infer again.
I understand that.
That I was
clear.
some helpless kind of a victim, and yet we're talking about an influence that is the influence of violent types of media and violent pornography, which was an indispensable link in the chain of behavior, the chain of events that led to the behaviors, to the assaults, to the murders, and what have you. It's a very difficult thing to describe. The sensation of
I thought that's what he was asking for a second. I thought the preacher was actually asking him. Which one fucked you up? Which exact one was it? What video or magazine exactly? Who?
Reaching that point where I knew that it was like something had, say, snapped. That I knew that I couldn't control it anymore. That these barriers that I had learned as a child that had been instilled in me were not enough to hold me back with respect to...
Come for the murder, stay for the jokes. That is Publicly Buzzed Nation, J Buzz Nation in a nutshell. Quite frankly, that I love that. Yeah. But this is a really fucked up interview, honestly. And I mean, in general, yeah, he's blaming porn for what happened to him, right? For the deviant thoughts going through his head and for him actually committing these unthinkable acts. Come on. And this was like, yeah, the 70s, right? So like, what is he looking at?
Seeking out and harming
Kind of like old nudie cutie magazines or movies. You were broken, dude. I mean, something happened.
Would it be accurate?
He's trying to take porn from us. In 1989, he's going out of this world and he's taking away the porno. He's taking away the corn. He's taking it with him. He's like, you know what? The last thing I'm going to do, I'm taking the corn. Taking the corn with me.
Call that a frenzy, a sexual frenzy?
Well, yes, that's one way to describe it. A compulsion, a building up.
Again, hours, ladies and gentlemen, before he was electrocuted.
Of this destructive energy. Another factor here that I haven't mentioned is the use of alcohol. But I think that what alcohol did, in conjunction with, let's say, my exposure to pornography, was alcohol reduced my inhibitions. At the same time, the fantasy life that was fueled by pornography eroded them further.
In the early days, you were nearly always about half drunk when you did these things. Is that right?
Yes. Yes.
Was that always true?
I would say that was generally the case, almost without exception.
All right, if I can understand it now, there's this battle going on within. There are the conventions that you've been taught. There's the right and wrong that you learned as a child. And then there is this unbridled passion fueled by your plunge into hardcore violent pornography. And those things are at war with each other.
Yes.
And then with the alcohol diminishing the inhibitions, you let go.
Well, yes, and you can summarize it that way, and that's accurate.
Yeah, there was some necrophilia with him, I believe. I may be wrong on that, but I think that there was evidence of him going back to corpses or something after the fact. I might be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure there was a little bit of necrophilia with him too, as well, rather. Somebody in the chat, let me know on that. Maybe I'm remembering that incorrectly. I've been watching the Jeffrey Dahmer trial again on Murder Church on Sundays, so a lot of necrophilia talk has been happening.
Certainly. And
yeah, the phone, and then he was like, he acknowledged the phone.
It occurred to me that
you're not answering.
Some people would say that, well, I've seen that stuff and it doesn't do anything to me. And I can understand that. Virtually everyone can be exposed to so-called pornography, and while they're aroused to it to one degree or another, not go out and do anything wrong.
Addictions are like that. They affect some people more than they affect others. Well, but there is a percentage of people affected by hardcore pornography in a very...
I tell you what, he was hoping that it was the governor is what he was hoping. He was probably... It's about damn time. Maybe I can reverse a little bit of what I'm saying here about the corn. Nope, not for me. The corno made me do it.
Very violent way, and you're obviously one of them.
That was a major component, and I don't know why I was wrong.
Right there, yeah. He is blaming it. He was not going to take personal responsibility. Who the heck is calling in the jail? I'm with Joanne on all that.
Vulnerable to it. All I know is that it had an impact on me that was just so central to the development of the violent behavior that I engaged in.
Ted, after you committed your first murder, what was the emotional effect on you? What happened in the days after that?
Well, again, this...
Let's have that vibe, Jay.
Please understand that even all these years later, it's very difficult to talk about it, and reliving it through talking about it.
Wow. I've never heard that, and that is absolutely fucking horrible, Shannon. Wow. Again, trigger warning on all publicly buzzed content, but wow.
It's difficult to say the least, but I want you to understand what happened.
Okay. Confirmed he was. And I thought I remember that, right? Like, and then all this shit just jumbles up in your fucking mind, endlessly covering this stuff. But yeah, I thought that he had went back to his victims and performed necrophilia on these bodies after the fact. Like, how fucked up? Like,
it was like coming out of some kind of horrible trance or dream. I can only liken it to after, I don't want to over dramatize it, but to have been possessed by something so awful and so alien, and then the next morning wake up from it, remember what happened, and realize that basically, in the eyes of the law, certainly in the eyes of God, you're responsible. To wake up in the morning and realize what I had done, with a clear mind and all my essential moral and ethical feelings intact at that moment. Absolutely horrified that I was capable of doing something like that.
You really hadn't known that before?
There is just absolutely no way to describe, first, the brutal urge to do that kind of thing, and then what happens is once it has been more or less satisfied and recedes, you might say, or spent, that sense, that kind of energy level recedes, and basically I became myself again. And I want people to understand this too, and I'm not saying this gratuitously because it's important people understand this, that basically I was a normal person. I wasn't some guy hanging out at bars or a bum, or I wasn't a pervert in the sense that, people look at somebody and say, I know there's something wrong with him, and just tell. I mean, I was essentially a normal person. I had good friends.
That looks, sure. But we know that's not true.
I led a normal life, except for this one small but
the darkness. Hold on one second.
Destructive segment of it that I kept very secret and very close to myself and didn't let anybody know about it. And part of the shock and horror from my dear friends and family years ago when I was first arrested was that there was no clue.
Hold on one second.
They looked at me and they looked at the all-American boy, and I wasn't perfect, but I want to be quite candid with you. I was okay. I was. The basic humanity and basic spirit that God gave me was intact, but unfortunately it became overwhelmed at times. And I think people need to recognize that it's not some kind of those of us who have been so much influenced by violence in the media, in particular pornographic violence, are not some kinds of inherent monsters. We are your sons and we are your husbands. And we grew up in regular families. And pornography can reach out and snatch a kid out of any house today. He snatched me out of my home. It snatched me out of my home 20, 30 years ago. And as diligent as my parents were, and they were diligent in protecting their children, and as good a Christian home as we had, and we had a wonderful Christian home, there is no protection against the kinds of influences that are loose in a society that tolerates.
You feel this really deeply, don't you? Ted, outside these walls right now, there are several hundred reporters that wanted to talk to you.
Yeah.
And you asked me to come here from California because you had something you wanted to say. This hour that we have together is not just an interview with a man who's scheduled to die tomorrow morning. I am here and you're here because of this message that you're talking about right here. You really feel that hardcore pornography and the doorway to it, softcore pornography, is doing untold damage to other people and causing other women to be abused and killed the way you did others.
Listen, I'm no social scientist, and I haven't done a survey. I mean, I don't pretend that I know what John Q. Citizen thinks about this. But I've lived in prison for a long time now. And I've met a lot of men who were motivated to commit violence just like me. And without exception, every one of them was deeply involved in pornography, without question, without exception, deeply influenced and consumed.
Trying to take the corn. Let it be. Let it be, Teddy.
By an addiction to pornography. There's no question about it. The FBI's own study on serial homicide shows that the most common interest among serial killers is pornography.
That's true.
And it's real. It's true.
Ted, what would your life have been like without that influence? You can only speculate.
Yeah. Well, I know it would have been far better, not just for me, and it's, excuse me for being so self-centered here. It would have been a lot better for me and lots of other people. I know that, lots of other innocent people, victims and families. It would have been a lot better. There's no question, but that it would have been a fuller life. Certainly a life that would not have involved, I'm absolutely certain, would not have involved this kind of violence that I have committed.
I'm sure, Ted, if I were able to ask you the questions that are being asked out there, one of the most important as you come down to perhaps your final hours, are you thinking about all those victims out there and their families who are so wounded, years later, their lives have not returned to normal. They will never return to normal.
Absolutely.
Are you carrying that load, that weight? Is the remorse there?
Again, I know that people will accuse me of being self-serving, but we're beyond that now. I mean, I'm just
volumes because he's trying to take it with him. Son of a bitch.
telling you how I feel. But through God's help, I have been able to come to the point where much too late, but better late than never, feel the hurt and the pain that I am responsible for. Yes, absolutely. In the past few days, myself and a number of investigators have been talking about unsolved cases, murders.
I mean, this is something that he did years prior to this, right? He would string along the investigators, giving up bodies or giving more tidbits to try to extend his stay, basically, from getting executed. So they basically said, we're tired of it, and they set a date in stone, and they did execute this man literally on this day. But I mean, yeah, he played with them for a long period of time, and then here on his last literal hours on this earth, he's going into this interview where he says this isn't something that's really bothering him and talking about the corn, but obviously it's bothering him because he talks about it for a full 30 fucking minutes.
That I was involved in, and it's hard to talk about all these years later because it revives in me all those terrible feelings and those thoughts that I have steadfastly and diligently dealt with, and I think successfully, with the love of God. And yet it's reopened that, and I felt the pain, and I felt the horror again of all that. And I can only hope that those who I have harmed, and those who I've caused so much grief, even if they don't believe my expression of sorrow.
Yeah, I don't believe that he's sorry here, man.
Remorse. Will believe what I'm saying now, that there is loose in their towns and their communities people like me today whose dangerous impulses are being fueled day in and day out by violence in the media in its various forms, particularly sexualized violence. And what scares me, and let's come into the present now, because what I'm talking about happened 20, 30 years ago, that is, in my formative stages. And what scares and appalls me, Dr. Dobson, is when I see what's on cable TV, some of the movies, I mean, some of the violence in the movies that come into homes today was stuff that they wouldn't show in X-rated adult theaters 30 years ago. This stuff...
The slasher movies that you're talking about.
That stuff is, I'm telling you, from personal experience, the most, that is graphic, violent...
Come after the slasher movies. This son of a bitch. Going out after the final days on planet Earth. Slasher movies and porno. Guys, if slasher movies and porno made everyone serial killers, we would be living in, like, the actual end times. Good Lord. It comes down to, again, accepting what you actually did, right? Like, the final moments of this dude's life, he's still putting blame everywhere but himself. I mean, clearly, you're the one that is broken. Something in your brain something's wrong with you, pal. And still, just like they said there in chat, gaslighting till the very end, right here, talking to a preacher as well. Come on.
On screen, particularly as it gets into the home to children who may be unattended or unaware that they may be a Ted Bundy who has that vulnerability to that predisposition to be influenced by that kind of behavior, by that kind of movie, that kind of violence. There are kids sitting out there switching the TV dial around and come upon these movies late at night, or I don't know when they're on, but they're on and any kid can watch them. It's scary when I think what would have happened to me if I had seen. I mean, scary enough. I mean, that I just ran into stuff outside the home, but to know that children are watching that kind of thing today, or can pick up their phone and dial away for it or send away for it.
Can you help me understand this desensitization process that took place? What was going on in your mind?
Well, by desensitization, I describe it in specific terms is that each time I'd harm someone, each time I'd kill someone, there'd be an enormous amount, especially at first, enormous amount of horror, guilt, remorse afterwards. But then that impulse to do it again would come back even stronger. Now, believe me, I didn't... the unique thing about how this worked, Dr. Dobson, is that I still felt...
Yeah, let's put that into perspective for a second, Brooklyn. What would he be like today? He's blaming what happened to him on porno from the 70s. All right? I mean, just think about the porno that you have access to on your phones through Pornhub. Let's just be real here for a second, okay? I mean, porno today is nothing like old school porno from the 70s. What would this motherfucker be doing in the streets now if this is his excuse that porn is what broke him? Come on, man. He's trying to take it with him on the last day. He's like, I'm going to have one last move. I'm going to fuck every single person over. I'm taking the porn. They're going to listen. The governments will shut it all down. No, they're not, Ted. You're not an authority figure. No one gives a fuck.
In my regular life, the full range of guilt and remorse about other things, regret and...
but you had this compartmentalized...
very well-focused...
100% wizard. The demons in you, not the demons that were created by people to watch for entertainment on film.
Sharply focused area where it was like a black hole. It was like a, like a crack, and everything that fell into that crack just disappeared. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
1980s cable TV, folks, is what he's saying is so damning to the young folks. 1980s TV, which is pretty badass. I love 1980s TV.
One of the final murders that you committed, of course, was...
Dear God, imagine if this man seen GTA. If it had made it another decade and saw the young, the first GTA, much less the early 2000s GTA.
Apparently, little Kimberly Leach, 12 years of
GTA
age.
2 and 3.
I think the public outcry is greater there because an innocent child was taken from a playground. What did you feel after that? Were there the normal emotions 3 days later? Where were you, Ted?
I can't really talk about that right now.
Well, it's the last time you're going to get to talk about fucking anything, buddy.
Oh yeah.
That's too painful.
I would like to be able to convey to you what that experience is like, but I can't. I won't be able to talk about that.
Okay.
You see him look up there? Like, how is he reacting to that? He's still playing every fucking body. He knows honestly, even to this moment, knowing we're here even at this time watching this shit on the internet. Yep. Fuck you, Ted Bundy, dude. Look at this right here.
I would like to be able to convey to you what that experience is like, but I can't. I won't be able to talk about that.
Okay.
How's he reacting? Fuck face.
I can't begin to understand. Well, I can try, but I'm aware
Still gonna try to grab some words here for you real quick.
that I can't begin to understand the pain that the parents of these children that I have and these young women that I have harmed feel. And I can't restore really much to them, if anything. And I won't pretend to, and I don't even expect them to forgive me, and I'm not asking for it. That kind of forgiveness is of God, and if they have it, they have it. If they don't, well, maybe they'll find it someday.
Do you deserve the punishment the state has inflicted upon
Seriously.
you? That's a very good question. And I'll answer it very, very honestly. I don't want to die. I'm not going to kid you. I'll kid you not. I deserve certainly the most extreme punishment society has, and I think society deserves to be protected from me and from others like me. That's for sure. I think what I hope will come of our discussion is I think society deserves to be protected from itself, because as we've been talking, there are forces at loose in this country, particularly, again, this kind of violent pornography, where, on the one hand, well-meaning, decent people will condemn behavior of a Ted Bundy while they're walking past a magazine rack full of the very kinds of things that send young kids down the road to be Ted Bundys. That's the irony. We're talking here not just about more. What I'm talking about is going beyond retribution, which is what people want with me. Going beyond retribution and punishment, because there is no way in the world that killing me is going to restore those beautiful children to their parents and correct and soothe the pain. But I'll tell you, there are lots of other kids playing in streets around this country today who are going to be dead tomorrow and the next day and the next day and next month, because other young people are reading the kinds of things and seeing the kinds of things that are available in the media today.
Ted, as you would imagine, there's tremendous cynicism about you on the outside, and I suppose for good reason. I'm not sure that there's anything that you could say that people
for good reason.
would believe. Some people would believe.
Yeah.
And yet, you told me last night, and I have heard this through our mutual friend John Tanner, that you have accepted the forgiveness of Jesus Christ and are a follower and a believer in Him. Do you draw strength from that as you approach these final hours?
I do. I can't say that
It's going to be
being
easy.
in the valley of the shadow of death is something that I've become all that accustomed to, and that I'm strong and nothing's bothering me. Listen, it's no fun. It's it gets kind of lonely. And yet, I have to remind myself that every one of us will go through this someday, in one way or another.
Appointed unto man.
And countless millions who have walked this earth before us have. So this is just an experience which we all share. And
Yeah.
right on.
Yeah, that was the last interview that he ever did. Literally hours before he was executed. Yeah, fuck Ted Bundy. He was trying to take our porno away, trying to take our corn. Yeah. Second here. Yeah, the last interview. Again, I'd watched bits and pieces of that. I'd never seen the whole thing. But yeah. I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. Everybody that has came through here, thank you very much. This is awesome. Everybody started pouring through here tonight. I love it. Love it. Awesome as hell. Got a full house, baby. Got a full house hanging out. Now, everybody, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see on the screen right here, this dank-ass, badass shirt is dropping Friday night, Feral Friday. Austin Reigns in the chat right here. Custom-made shirts. Very limited supply. Variants. No two will be alike. These are handcrafted by Austin Reigns. Okay, badass Austin Reigns. Yeah, make sure you're here. Feral Friday again. The 6K special. Jay and Shannon are going to be in the house hanging out with me and Dan. I about called him Jan.
I'm telling you like it is, baby.
It's going to be badass is what it's going to be, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm telling you like it is, baby.
10:30 p.m. Eastern time. You're not going to want to miss this because when they're out, they're out. And, you know, unless you sweet talk Austin Reigns, basically. Because she is the crafter of these beautiful shirts. Whoa, Lakota coming through with the $4.99. Is this Murder Church with him quoting the Bible, right? It feels a little Murder Churchy tonight.
Give me the loot. Give me the loot.
Not only sitting down with a preacher, but yeah, also another serial killer out here. Thank you so much. Holly Berry coming through, gifting 5 more memberships. Hold up. Halle Berry has her own soundbite. Love it. 5 memberships. Who got this? Who got these? Bella, Just Amber, Bitch Franklin, Cindy Ann, and Derek Wright. Derek, what is going on, man? I just dropped my pen. Thanks, everybody. Welcome to Publicly Buzzed membership. Jay Buzz Nation in the morning. YNW Melly Trial with Jay. Make sure you're there. Let me go ahead and pop my boy up over here. Jay, YNW Melly in the morning, ladies and gentlemen. Tomorrow night, me and Dan are going to be hanging out with him and Shannon. We're going to be a PB&J sandwich over on their channel as we're going to be watching the Arizona versus Michael Turney, the viral cold case trial, day 4. Yeah, man, it's Publicly Buzzed is banging it out. We're doing the damn thing. Oh man, I want to shout out Drip Drop from Crime Circus. We made that video last week showing, basically showing how the bullshit that was in the video that he was saying. But then he made another video and was saying basically, you know, the website that he used for the background check. Well, Dan, being the badass that he is, went even further and paid for it himself. The actual website is not accurate. As far as I'm concerned, BLK living in that house in Easton, PA is a closed case. I used the same site, searched 5 relatives, and confirmed 4 of the 5 showed bogus addresses. It mixed me up with a guy in Ohio who was 64, showed that Dan's wife owned a $1.3 million house. If you actually look at that site and then underneath the social profiles, that's where the weird addresses were located for Brent Kopacka. And I don't think that and then right here, coming through, props to him saying, yeah, you're right. These background sites are garbage. And I'm always learning. I wanted to shout him out because that was fucking awesome, man. You don't see that happen a lot. But in the morning, folks, Juan W. Melly, today was fucking garbage in that case. But you're going to want to be there because even when it's a slow day, you know who the man is? Jay, making us laugh, getting us through it. Absolutely badass. Thank you all the new members, everyone that's come through tonight. Love to see it. It's been a banging house tonight. Everybody's coming through on a Tuesday night. Did not expect it to be this awesome. Thursday, 10 p.m. Be here. Me and Dan are going to be back. And then again, Feral Friday, folks. Come on. Barrel Friday. You're gonna want to come and hang out. If you've seen the 5K subscriber special, you know that something special is going to be going on. It's going to be awesome. And also, yes, colored tees are coming as well from Austin. Now, she's putting the work in here, folks. I see Dara coming through here. Dara like Sarah. Bam. Love it, folks. And yeah, while I'm here, let me also put in the publiclybuzz.com merch site, you know. Go buy a shirt. Go buy a shirt. Yeah, and the beers in the chat. Yes, that's what I wanted to see as well. All those beers, and I love it. I love it. We get new members here, and those beers start flowing, folks. Those beers start flowing. What do we got down through here? Lord, Art with Viv. Also, another absolute badass on Twitter and on YouTube. Let's see. Oh, wow. Dara Johnson coming through with the 1999. Oh, my God. Are you kidding me? Got it. I got it. I'm putting it in my pocket. Hold on.
Give me the loot. Give me the loot.
Now we're going to end this thing on the what has become the Publicly Buzzed slogan by Mr. Jim Leahy from Trailer Park Boys.
I'm sober enough to know what I'm doing, and I'm drunk enough to really enjoy doing it.
Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, I love you guys. You're amazing. Tonight has been fun and crazy, and even in the face of these really serious situations, I like to put a little bit of comedy on, a little bit of a spin. That's just who I am. That's who we are here at Publicly Buzzed. How old was Bundy when he was executed? That's a good question. Can we do a quick Google search here? Did Bundy age? He was 42 years old when he was executed. 42. What a wasted life. Feral Fridays, colored tees. Yes, every single person. I can't even read all these. Oh my God, all the corn, the beers, every single person, the unicorns. Love it. Everybody, have a great night. I will see everybody Thursday, 10 p.m. Eastern time. You're amazing. In the morning, YNW Melly, tomorrow night. Let's do it. I'm horrible at editing shows. I could keep going all night long. We could just keep rolling. Nate from home. Everybody follow Nate from home. Another badass channel on YouTube. He's going to be probably blowing the fuck up. Go watch some of his content. You're going to find out why he's legit as shit. Knows what's going on in the editing game. Let's get out of here, folks. I love you guys. Seriously. I'll see you Thursday.
See, we shoot them up bang bang over here. We not scared of they motherfucking ass.